Hello class, welcome to week 6. You guys are doing great. I just realized in my last announcement that I kind of mixed some... I just realized now I'm teaching two classes that kind of have some of the same information and then they're a little bit different. So I got to be careful not to start mixing up in my mind what I need to tell you guys versus my World Civ 106. And here we are in Western Civ 104. There's a lot of overlap. They're definitely two different classes, but certain parts are very similar. Anyhow, I got to make sure I kind of keep everything focused, put together right. So look, I really feel like you guys are doing great. For the most part, I think at this point, as you're keeping up, you're finding that you have success in my class. And for those of you who are falling behind, it'd be good for you to really try to get a hold of me soon and let's resolve this. I work tomorrow at my other job, but then I work from home Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Those are really good times to try to get a hold of me. Even if you just need to write to me and you don't have time to call, just definitely let's try to work out anything that you need to have worked out with for. So anyhow, I feel like it's really awesome watching you. Well, I feel like it's really awesome. It is very awesome watching you guys really see that you're learning Western civilization. And, now, especially now, every class that we are going to have, you're just going to be like, oh, right. And it's like you've been living under this whole system. You have a way of living and dealing, no matter what ethnic background you have, by the way. If you've spent enough time here in the United States or in Europe, you have been under Western culture, and in many parts of the world, you're still kind of under a system that is based on a model of Western knowledge, at least for many nations. And again, whether that's a good or a bad thing is something for each person to decide, but it's a thing. It's real. And it's all-encompassing, and you can't escape it, really. And that is why, for some intellects and nationalists in other countries, there has been this feeling of being overwhelmed by this totality of this thing, the modern nation state and the way it's conceived and the way that culture and governance and everything in the world is coming from ideas essentially from this civilization right now. And of course there's a reason, because of war and imperialism and colonialism, that definitely contributed to that. But in any case, whatever the case is, it's a thing. So you guys are getting it. It's important to understand. It's important to understand also why other parts of the world have such a negative reaction to this. Because it is an all-encompassing thing. So I just think now that you guys are really you're getting engaged and learning about things that really are that matter. Okay, now something that I just want to say, and as we go over and talk about Christianity and Germanic tribes, I cover also a bit of more Jewish history. This is all very important, and of course we know that World War II, there was all these issues, and we think of it there just being a Jewish question. Well, I want to point something out that I've said in some of my lectures, but just to make really clear to think about this, because this is something that I've really contemplated upon more recently. And I want you to bear with me. Jews weren't the most persecuted in the Christian world. Now, they were the second most persecuted. Bear with me now. Pagans were eradicated. We've learned this several times over. The pagans that exist now are reinventions of pagan ideas, pre-Christian ideas that come from Europe. we really don't have much knowledge, like really great historical knowledge about the belief systems of the indigenous populations of Europe prior to Roman dominance. We just have a lot of limitations with that, because many of them were oral societies, that things were passed down word of mouth. Same with the Celts, the Slavs, same. And so Jews had a kind of special and yet problematic place within the Christian world. And we should be able to talk about that a little bit more later. And I think I addressed that in some of my other lectures. But, right, I mean, it's interesting. In other words, Christianity allowed Jews to exist. It didn't eradicate them the way it did paganism. But it also made sure that they weren't in a very good situation, to remind them that they displeased God by not accepting the Messiah. And so this gets incorporated into the Christian Roman cultural mindset, so that no matter what one thought about Jews within the Roman world, once Christianity gets officially a part of it, there will always be a Jewish question, a question about the status of Jews. Islam does something very different, because of the role of minorities in Islam, they eradicate mainly pagans, although they don't do that in India. I think I mentioned that before. Well, look, I don't want to go off on all these different crazy topics. I need to rein it in. Just to say that we see a lot of things coming from these time periods now that will help you make a little bit more sense of how we get to tragedies like the things we saw happen in World War II. But not just the tragedy of the Holocaust, the tragedies of World War I and World War II. How Europeans could kill each other in the way that they did is really because they were always killing each other. This is the longest period of peace since the end of World War II to now. Since the end of World War II to now is the longest period of peace Europeans have had with each other. Okay, so just think about that for a second. All right, I've mentioned this before, but I always want to reiterate this kind of thing. Now, in any case, I think that this will, well, I think that I'll just stop here, and you guys can just watch the videos and take in what you're learning. Ask me a question if there's anything else to develop, and I'll end it right here. Have a great week, and sorry for babbling so much in this particular announcement.